Yes, yes, right.
And in the physical geography, you won't find much difference between the GS and optional. I'm taking so greatly there, so deeply there. Because the people will get involved in the work, and at the same time they get somewhat it's easy marks too. Because somewhat more depth is given. Therefore, I'm giving somewhat greater depth, almost equal to the option in the case for it. What is क्या बात हो रहा है स्टूडेंट्स में actually like is it deep or something only on the paper that's it without any address we are not given any address and talking only the students who are known in the vision. If we give address, then the class will be full. YouTube channel. Basically, when teachers start teaching, they have YouTube channel. This being published in very genuine video. Then people get attracted and stop with that. Okay. Let us see. Thank you. What are you want to see? Because there is many things in cultural city, even there is a astronomical center. कौन प्रोडक्ट वापस में सर पता ही नहीं चलता सर हजारों मंदिर हैं मतलब कोई एक दिन से पूछने की शुक्राचार्य मंदिर का पता ही नहीं सर मतलब बाबा विश्वनाथ के बगल में ही इतना ज्यादा सर मंदिर है या फिर you know that is the only city which is flourishing for some centuries even right from the beginning. Continuity is very difficult. But in India, there are few cities which are having a continuity. One Bodhya, Puri. This one, Varanasi.
In south, maybe Rameshwaram. Tanjavur. Meenakshi-puram, Madurai.
Tirupati.
But is Tirupati an ancient temple? Ancient city.
It was there right from 890.
But like Tirupati, you have one deity. Everybody worship. In Banaras, you have so many deities. Krishna, Ram, Mahadev,
so many.
Shakti,
now Bhagavan है कुछ भगवान के नाम भी है बुद्धिस्ट
then Sarnath Buddhism, Jainism है वहाँ पर everything. It's a very rich culture. On हो गया? Okay.
अच्छा आपने स्टूडेंट आ रहे हैं?
Sir.
Okay. I think we should start now with this test. And the 2 minutes.
Because we have given them the links, so even if they are somewhere outside, they can start on.
ये मार्केट छोटा वाला मार्केट ये वहाँ पे उसमें नहीं ये
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. Very good afternoon. Good to see some of the offline students. Let us start with this one. In the last class, you didn't, you are not there in the online also. Okay, you are there in the online. Okay, good. Okay. Now let us start with this one. In the previous in the last two classes, we discussed the introduction. We have shown the syllabus. Like, I have shown in the sense I explained the syllabus, like the physical part and the human part. Alternatively, we'll be carrying on the topics that are related to the paper 2. Whatever the physical part we'll be discussing in the paper 1 will be alternatively done with the paper 2 of the Indian geography. That is what the strategy. Let us again brief you saying that paper 1, whenever we are completing the physical part of that particular world region, alternatively we will be completing the Indian physical part. Clear? That means what? The paper 2 will be automatically taken care once we complete the paper 1. Specifically, there are some areas where we need to pay very great attention on, and therefore we will be discussing in depth of that paper 2 in certain topics. That is the main introduction. Then let us see the today's content. After giving the explanation regarding the syllabus, then the introduction was given in the last class, like geomorphology. Before going to enter the geomorphology, which is a main topic in the physical part, we need to talk about the universe. This is where I have stopped in the last class. Let us talk about the universe, the related theories, and then we'll talk about the origin of the earth. Within the universe, the very important topic that comes might be a question in the optional part is the origin of the earth. The origin of the earth. In fact, even in the GS, normally I will be taking up these concepts, but in a very brief manner. I'll be explaining what are the different types of hypotheses that are present, and all these things will be explained in a very brief manner. But here in the optional, we will be going in depth. I'll be talking briefly about the universe. Then we'll come to the origin of the earth. Once we understand how the earth has taken birth on this, in this universe, then we'll be entering into the main course called as geomorphology. Let us confine ourselves today with the universe and the origin of the earth. Right? Now, what is the universe? How the universe have developed? For all these questions, like how the universe took birth, what are the elements that are present, where it is called as the primordial matter, nothing but before the formation of the universe, what type of material is there? All this knowledge, whatever we are having right now, the so-called scientific evidences that are there, first and foremost point, what you need to understand is the knowledge that the man has acquired regarding the universe is limited. We are having the limited knowledge, not the wide and extensive knowledge we are having. We are having a very limited knowledge with so-called the science and developments. with the so-called knowledge the man has acquired. Yet we are having a limited knowledge. If at all I am giving the percentage, how much of knowledge the man has acquired, man is having the knowledge of just 5%, where it is called as known universe. Known universe. Whereas the unknown universe for us is 95%. Unknown. It is unknown. When we say it is unknown, when it is known, how can you say that it is 95% unknown when it is not completely discovered? If you know completely, then we can tell that I know only this part and the remaining part I don't know. How the scientific community came to a conclusion that 95% of the universe is unknown, it is by seeing the matter that is present there. There is a matter and there is a energy which is not visible to us. This is called as the dark matter and dark energy. Meaning what? Whenever you are seeing through the telescopes into the space, what you can find here and there, certain celestial bodies will be seen. In between the celestial bodies, there is a huge amount of energy. At the same time, huge amount of matter is also there. When the matter is there, when the energy is there, what is the role played by that matter? What is the role played by that energy that even today we are unable to decipher? What is visible to us? What a man can see? What type of developments that are happening in the visible matter, that alone the man is trying to understand. That accounts for just 5%. This is a tragic condition. But the question remains, how the universe developed and how the matter came into picture. How comes the energy came into picture? Since energy cannot be created nor destroyed, how it is there? And what do you mean by matter? And whenever you are seeing the universe, you can find huge clouds of gases and dust. How that cloud of gas and dust has formed? All they were explained by number of theories. What are those theories? The theories that are talking about the origin of universe. There are so many theories given by many scientific personalities, but out of many theories, the three theories which are highly accepted by the world communities. What are those theories? The first and foremost one is called as the steady state theory. It's called as the steady state theory, which is given by Mr. Fred Hoyle, the great personality kind by name Hoyle, a very great personality. It's called as Mr. Hoyle. This is the one who gave the steady state theory. Earlier, it was called as a steady state hypothesis because of the evidences that the Hoyle is supporting. Because of those evidences, what happened? That very hypothesis got converted into theory. What makes the difference between the hypothesis and a theory? Hypothesis is a assumed set of assumptions. Hypothesis is a set of a group of not one, two assumptions, a set of assumptions, which may be true, may not be true. But what is a theory? Theory is the one where they can be proved, they can be explained, they can be even seen directly, the happenings of those events that are happening in the universe. You can see that one. That is what the theory. The next very important theory that he's talking about is the pulsating theory. Pulsating theory. The pulsating theory, in fact, there was a good number of people where they have propounded the pulsating theory, but the credit goes to the great personality called as Eddington. Eddington is one of that personalities where they explain the pulsating theory. There are a good number of scientific communities, but one name where whenever you want to name the theory on behalf of, it is the Eddington. Then the next very important theory where all you people might be aware of this one is called as the Big Bang. That is a Big Bang theory, which is most acceptable theory as on today. How the universe has formed? In fact, no one theory is explaining exactly the way how the universe has developed. There are so many theories. Out of all the theories, one theory which is explaining satisfactorily to a certain extent is the Big Bang. Right now, which is the accepted theory, this is the Big Bang. What do you mean by Big Bang theory? No need to go in depth of these concepts because these are the concepts which are not going to be asked in geography. It is a link between the geography and the astronomy. That's why I'm giving a brief introduction, right? We'll be going to a certain extent to this theory in depth. Then we'll talk about the hypotheses that are related to the origin of Earth, right? Now, what do you mean by the steady state hypothesis? What is the steady state hypothesis? As the name itself denotes that the state is always steady, meaning what? The universe that has formed is always in a constant nature. There is no expansion, there is no contraction. The entire matter that is present is constant. Sometimes you can find you appear like the material is getting expanded. Sometimes the material appear to be contracted, but the actual content within the universe is steady. That is what the meaning of steady state hypothesis. What is the meaning of steady state? The volume of the universe is ever constant. This is what it says. Whenever we say that the volume of the universe is ever constant, the scientific community, with the help of the latest gadgets, what they could discover is the material in the universe, they are moving away from each other. Whenever you are seeing the telescope, we are taking the telescope, and if you practically watch the universe in the space, then what happens? All the celestial bodies are moving away from each other. Whenever they are moving away from each other, what happened? What is that normal understanding? Since we are observing directly with our naked eye, what you are deciphering, you can decipher that the material is moving away from each other, meaning what? The universe is expanding, but how comes there can be steady state? Then Mr. Hoyle is explaining. Mr. Hoyle is explaining that what do you mean by steady? According to Hoyle, the entire matter that is present, when whatever is the visible matter, like suppose whatever is the visible matter, will the screen will not be moved? No, I need to scroll this one. Just hold on. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Now, come on, see this one. What do you mean by the steady state? What do you mean by the steady state by Mr. Hoyle? When we see the universe, suppose if this is the universe, according to this guy, if this is the universe, the matter that is present in the universe is always constant. What Hoyle said, that the matter that is present in the universe is always constant, but within this constant state, some of the new matter takes birth. Some of the new matter takes birth, and they start moving away from each other. When they start moving away from each other, the space between the intergalactic areas, meaning what? The space between the particles will be keep on increasing. As and when increases, the material moves right from here to here. The space increases, and from here it goes. It goes beyond some other area where it is unobservable. It is unobservable. What do you mean by unobservable? We cannot see. Even with the gadgets like telescopes, the powerful telescopes, we cannot see those material. Meaning what? They are going beyond the boundary of the reach of the human knowledge. Therefore, whenever it is going out, compensating this material, some other material is taking birth here. Some other material is taking birth again. Whatever the lost material, whatever the new material that has taken birth is always one and the same. Therefore, always within the universe, the matter is steady. This is what the steady state theory, which needs to be proven. Still further experiments needs to be taken into consideration. Therefore, it is kept aside, but it is considered as one of the valued concepts. Many more new developments needs to be brought within this concept to prove that yes, this is a very important theory. But as on today, whenever you are seeing the universe and the knowledge of the person, the matter, whatever you are seeing right now, is always all in a steady proportion. Therefore, this theory is considered to be a valid theory. Whether it is moving away or it is not observable, since our gadgets are unable to see beyond certain limit, we are not guaranteeing this particular theory, but the matter is always constant in the matter. That is what we are observing. Therefore, this theory is quite acceptable theory. This is the first theory. The second theory is about the pulsating theory. What in this pulsating theory? The pulsating theory says that, what do you mean by pulsating? Nothing but switching on, switching off, switching on, switching off. This is called as pulsating theory, right? Just like the pulse, whenever you are seeing the pulse, it will be beeping up, silence. Again, it will be beeping up, it will become silence. On the same lines, even the universe is getting pulsated. Meaning what? Universe, which was a small volume of the space, started growing in size, growing in size, growing in size, and finally it will be reaching to such a big, vast, wide limit. After reaching that extreme point, what the scientist says, right from then, it starts again decreasing in size. One phase is the increasing phase, another phase is decreasing in size phase. What we are seeing right now is the increasing phase. Therefore, all the celestial bodies, whenever you are watching with the telescope, all the celestial bodies are moving away from each other. Meaning what it is? We are in the increasing pulse stage. This is what the scientist says. It is the increasing pulse stage. Whereas this is the decreasing pulse stage. When we will be entering this one? It is guessed that some millions, after some millions, when the sun is going to shrink down, then we are going to enter into this one. After what is the said time period? It is 5 to 7 billion years. 5 to 7 billion years after, we are going to enter into the decreasing pulse stage. This is what the pulsating concepts. Both the concepts are there to a certain extent, they are valid, but completely we are not accepting these two theories. But which theory is widely accepted? This is the one which is widely accepted. The name of the theory is called as Big Bang. This is a widely accepted theory. So when it is widely accepted, why we need to discuss the other two theories? Because you should be knowing the other two theories. Why we are accepting this one on a good scale? Because whatever the answers the other theories are unable to give, this theory is giving the answers for the question. That is the importance of this theory. As there is no one theory explaining so greatly about the formation of the universe than that of the Big Bang, this is a widely accepted theory. What the theory says? This theory was proponent by Mr. Come on, do you remember the name of this guy? The name of this guy is Georges. The name of the concept is Big Bang, proponent by Georges Lemaitre, who happens to be a Belgian priest. in the Belgium. Meaning what? In the Belgium, there is a church, and the church, he's a physics teacher. He's a teacher and also a priest. In the church, normally, the priest will be a teacher and they will be teaching the concepts. What he discovered, what is his idea? In fact, in the year 1927, he believed that all of a sudden he got one idea, and he got an idea and propounded this idea in the form of a book. When this book was published, he met Mr. Einstein, proposed this concept to Mr. Einstein. Einstein said that, yes, every probability can be there. The moment once Einstein said that, yes, the probability is there, then this guy started publishing the books widely, saying that all of a sudden, how the universe has formed according to Mr. George's Lemaitre, all of a sudden, one atom, there was a small, very small, tiny atom, which is having what is called as infinite energy and infinite mass. There was one small individual atom. What is an atom? Atom for that matter. What is an atom for that matter? What is an atom? According to the science, whichever the body, whenever you are dividing any body, there will be a point where the further division cannot happen. Suppose if you take this pin, starts making into pieces and pieces, a larger piece. First of all, you can break into 2 pieces, 2 into 4 pieces, 4 into 8 pieces, 8 into. Likewise, you will be breaking, and there will be a point where further division of that one particular particle cannot happen. Such a small, invisible, where the further division cannot take place, is called as atom. This is what the atom. The entire universe is made up of some trillions of atoms. The entire universe is made up of atoms. One such atom which was having infinite mass and infinite energy. So great amount of energy is there, so great amount of mass is hidden in this atom. When such a great amount of energy and mass is there hidden in this atom, all of a sudden it got exploded. He didn't explain why it got exploded, but what he said is it got exploded. The moment once it got exploded like this, within the first 1/billionth of a second, the explosion was so huge, some of the energy got converted into matter. What is a matter according to Mr. George's Lemaitre? The energy got converted into matter, meaning what? Dust and the gas particles. What do you mean by matter according to Mr. George's Lemaitre? It is the dust and the gases. Some of the energy, since the energy cannot be destroyed, it can be converted into other form. What is the other form that got converted? Dust and gases. These are dust and the gas that got converted, where this very dust and gas is called as primordial. It's called as primordial matter. What do you mean by primordial matter? Nothing but the gas and the dust. This is the first step which George's Lemaitre has said. Right from then, the universe keep on expanding in size like this. It was ever expanding, so greatly expanding. Even today, at this second, it is expanding. With the expansion, some of the energy got converted into matter, nothing but the dust and the gas. Right from then, what took birth? What took birth? Space took birth. What is the space? This is the space. This is the space. Where are we within the space? Earlier, there was no such space. This is what the space which took birth right now. After the space, not only the space, even the time took birth. Not just the space, even the time took birth. Whenever you are talking about the time, every time we need to refer a point of the point of origin, the point of the initial time. What is that initial time? This is the time. What is the time they talked about? It is around some 13.7 billion years back. Meaning what? What is the known time right now we are in? It is 13.7 billion years back. All these events happened way back, some 13.7 billion years back. What do you mean by billion? Billion is not just one small number. 100 crores is a billion. 13.7 billion years back, this particular individual atom got exploded and started developing space, time, and the matter. This is how the universe has expanded. When this guy, since he's not a real scientist, he's just a teacher in the church, how can we believe? Why we are accepting this particular concept as a highly acceptable concept when it is given by only a priest? Why this concept is accepted? Because this was supported by Mr. Edwin Hubble. Edwin Hubble, a very great astrophysicist who discovered the Hubble telescope. Right now, we are seeing all the celestial bodies with this telescope only. This is Mr. Edwin Hubble who accepted this theory and said that, yes, whatever Georges Lemaitre said is perfectly true. When he is telling, there must be some scientific evidence. What is the evidence he is giving? He has given the scientific evidence saying that when I was observing the celestial bodies, see the statement given by Mr. Hubble, when I was observing the celestial bodies, I could see a red shift. I could see a red shift between the celestial bodies. What do you mean by celestial bodies? All those bodies that are present in the space. You name any body, like star is a celestial body, planet is a celestial body, a rock is a celestial body, the dust that is present in the universe is a celestial body. Whatever the physical structure that is present in the space is called as celestial body. What he could discover is there is a red shift. There is a red shift between the celestial body. This is what he said. What is this red shift? What do you mean by red shift? How he explained the red shift? Red shift is nothing but, in the case of, let me give the same example that is given by Mr. Hubble. Whenever you are standing on the road, if there is an ambulance that is coming towards you, whenever an ambulance or a moving car or moving vehicle with honking, whenever it is honking and it is coming to you, what type of sound intensity you will be finding? The moment once the vehicle is honking with a great sound and it is approaching you, what type of intensity you will be feeling? The intensity of the sound will be keep on rising. The moment when the vehicle passes after you, then what happens? The sound that is honking by the vehicle, the sound that is given by the vehicle will start dissipating down. Got the point? Whenever you are seeing the ambulance approaching you, definitely the sound will be keep on increasing. As in when it passes away, what happens to the sound intensity? The sound intensity will get reduces on the same lines in the visible light spectrum. On the same lines in the visible light spectrum that is present in our solar system, whenever any object that is approaching you, suppose if there is an object, suppose if this is our earth and one object is approaching, maybe this is an object which is called as huge star. Whenever it is approaching, when it approaches, it will be blinking with what is called as blue light. Why is called as blue light? Nothing but blue frequency is high. The frequency of the blue is high. What is F? Nothing but the frequency. When the vehicle is approaching to you, what happens to the intensity of the sound? It will be increasing, nothing but frequency is more. When the frequency is more, meaning what? It is approaching. When the frequency is increasing means what? Even though if at all you are closing your eyes, if you are keep on listening the sound, what you can feel is, yes, the body is approaching to you. On the same lines, in the space, any body, whenever it is approaching to our earth, then we can see the blue light that is emitted by that object. The moment once it comes close to us, until it comes very close, what type of light you can find? Increasing frequency and the blue light you can find. The moment once it moves away, what happens to the frequency? Frequency keep on reduces. When the frequency keep on reduces, what is the light it will be emitting? It is red light. It is the red light. What Mr. Hubble have observed in between all the celestial bodies. In between all the celestial bodies, Edwin Hubble discovered the red shift, meaning what? The blue is getting shifted towards the red color. When a blue light that is blinking is getting converted into red, meaning what? All the objects are moving away from each other. When the objects are moving away from each other, when the objects can move, the moment once there is an explosion. Once there is an explosion, then only the objects move away from each other. Therefore, with the red shift concept, Edwin Hubble supported Mr. Telemetry. This is a very great breakthrough in the science. Because of this redshift concept, Big Bang theory, which was considered with other theories like pulsating theory, steady state theory, Big Bang was a small theory. But with the discovery of this redshift, way back in the year 1927, this concept was given more prominence. This is the beginning of the fresh leaf of life to the Big Bang. Right from then, there is no looking back for the Big Bang theory. By the time it is 1970, by the time it is 1968, again two astrophysicists by name Mr. Penzias. There are two personalities by name Mr. Penzias and the other guy by name Mr. Wilson. These are the two astrophysicists. They have discovered radiation in the space, complete radiation. Wherever you go into the space, the radiation is there. This is what again a breakout through. It's a big breakthrough. Because of the discovery of the radiation in the space, when the radiation can be there in the space, whenever there is an explosion, then only the radiation is there. Therefore, Penzias and Wilson were indirectly supporting Mr. Georges Lemaitre. This is the guy. Directly supporting the Georges Lemaitre. Due to which, right now, Big Bang was considered to be very valid concept. By the concept called as redshift, the other concept called as the radiation that was discovered in the space. Are these two evidences are quite sufficient or what? No. We want further more evidences to prove that yes, the universe has formed exactly in this manner. In order to prove this exact concept, the recent governments, nothing but the recent developments that are happening are one development. What is that one development? In between the Swiss and the France border, in between the boundaries of the Switzerland and the France, there is a lab. The name of the lab is called as CERN lab, CERN, CERN lab. CERN lab is considered to be the most valid and authentic lab that is present in the world, especially in the case of physics experiments. In the case of the physics experiment, what is that lab that is an authentic lab? It is a CERN, CERN, CERN lab. In the CERN lab, what happened? There was an experiment that was conducted. One new experiment was conducted here. What is that name of the experiment? It's called as Large Hadron Collider. This is the experiment that was conducted. What is the experiment? It's called as Large Hadron Collider. Large Hadron Collider. This is the one. The Large Hadron Collider was the experiment that was conducted in the CERN laboratory. Where is the CERN laboratory? The CERN lab is not there on the surface, but in fact it is located deep in the underground. Like suppose if at all you are seeing the surface, if this is the Swiss, if it is the France, for a depth of almost 1 kilometer, for the depth of 1 kilometer, there is a huge lab that was constructed like this. There is a huge lab that was constructed. This is the CERN lab. This is the CERN lab that was constructed. How the lab appears? The lab is circular in shape. This is what the circular shape of the lab. What these people are doing the experiment? The name of the experiment is called as Large Hadron Collider. What this Large Hadron Collider? They have separated, the scientists have separated two protons. What is a proton? They have separated two protons from the atom. Whenever we are talking about the structure of atom, what is the structure of atom? The atom is a small indivisible particle. This is what I explained. Each and every atom is having a nucleus at the center. Within the nucleus, you can find one called as a positively charged particle. It is called as the proton. Along with the proton, you can find the another particle which is having no charge. There is no charge for this particle. It is a particle we can directly see with the microscope, and we can see that it is having no charge. But the another particle is there which is called as a positively charged particle, which is called as proton. And around the nucleus, equal number of protons, whatever the protons are there, equal to the number of protons, the electrons which are having negatively charged particles, they will be revolving around the nucleus. This is a standard definition of the atom. Now what the scientists did, they have separated two protons. They separated the two protons. One proton is made to rotate from one side. The another proton is made to rotate in the opposite direction, and started making the protons to rotate at the speed of light. What is the speed of the light? What is the velocity of the light? The velocity of the light is it is roughly 3 lakh kilometers per second. In 1 second, the light will be traveling up to a speed of some 3 lakh kilometers. Such protons are made to rotate at the speed of light. Finally, when the protons are brought together and bombarded, the fast moving protons are bombarded against each other. When they are bombarded against each other, it is believed that dust and gases takes birth. What do you mean by dust and the gases? Nothing but matter will be taking birth. This is what the belief of the people, it is what the science says, it is what the experiments conducted in the lab this is. In order to prove this one, lab was constructed and the very great experiment was conducted way back in the year 2008. But finally, what they came to know is, when the bombardment of the proton was made, nothing was the result. There was no creation of matter. When the matter was not created, then the people started analyzing what went wrong. What went wrong? They came to know that it's not all the protons can create the matter. It is only the protons which are separated from God's particle. What is this God's particle? The God's particle is such a atom with infinite mass and energy. Infinite mass and infinite energy. Infinite mass and infinite energy. That is what the God particle. What these people took the protons from, where the scientists took the protons? The scientists took protons from normal hydrogen atom. Therefore, they came to a conclusion that not all the protons can give a very great matter development. It is the protons which are separated from the God's particle are the one which can create the matter. This is the final conclusion. Because of this conclusion, they stopped the experiment way back in the year 2012, and now they are searching for the God's particle. This very God's particle is called as Higgs boson particle. What do you mean by the Higgs boson particle? The Higgs and Mr. Bose, who happens to be from the Indian origin, both these personalities believe that yes, there are certain particles called as a God's particle. If the God's particles are there, they named this particle as a Higgs boson particle. These particles are having very high amount of energy hidden within this one. Very high amount of not only energy, mass is hidden in this one. Now the entire scientific community is searching these particles, the God's particles. According to Higgs and boson, there are not just 1, 2 God's particles. There are huge number of God's particles. But where they are there, that's $1 million question. Once it is discovered, we will be separating the atoms from the God's particle, and then the experiment will be again reconducted. This is completely the brief history of the universe. This is completely the brief history of the universe. Nothing but how the universe has developed. Don't expect much questions in the optional part even from the universe, but you can expect the question from the earth part, not the universe part. Okay, since we need to know this one, I have explained all these things. What are the current developments like God's particle? Whenever you are reading in the newspaper or some other articles, you'll come across the God's particle. What do you mean by God's particle? This is the God's particle with the infinite mass, infinite energy, which is also called as Higgs boson particle. Right? This is about the introduction to the Big Bang. What is the mechanism? Before going to understand the origin of the Earth, what is the mechanism that is happening in the universe? Let us have a brief discussion of the mechanism that is happening in the universe. Okay, in the case for all these things, if you want to take the notes, whatever I am writing on the board, you please jot down the points. I will be providing the printed material. Okay, I will print that one and I will be giving to you. No need to worry about the material, but whatever I write on the board, you please copy, because small diagrams, small definitions that are present, they make a lot of sense. Okay, they make a lot of sense for you. Therefore, it is very important to jot down the points, whatever the points I am writing on the board. Right? Now, after understanding the entire concept, see, this is the entire concept. One is a redshift. Then, do you understand the redshift? What do you mean by redshift? Nothing but approaching body always emits the blue light, but the moving away particle always emits the low frequency wave called as the red wave. That's why it is called as VIBGYOR. Do you know this one? All you people are well aware of the word called as VIBGYOR, right? What is this VIBGYOR? VIBGYOR. This is the visible spectrum, right? Where is blue? Whenever you are seeing right from left to right, what happens to the frequency? The frequency will be reducing. Where is blue? Blue is having high frequency. Where is red? In the low frequency area. Whenever any particle is there below the red, what will be the frequency? The frequency is called as infrared. What do you mean by infrared? Many times you will come across the word called as infrared, right? What is infrared? Nothing but inferior to that of the red wavelength. That is what the infrared. Got the point? Meaning what? The red shift is always will be having low wavelength. That is what the red shift concept. These are the latest developments where you need to remember Large Hadron Collider, CERN lab. These are the latest developments. Now, what happened in the recent past? What happened in the recent past? In the year 2015. Now we are talking about not the Earth, but the mechanism that is happening within the universe. This is the universe. Suppose if I am drawing a rough picture like this, what is there in the universe? The universe is ever expanding like this, right? It is ever expanding, keep on expanding, right? Every time the space is increasing, right? This is what is happening. Now, the sum of the energy got converted into what is called as the cloud of dust and gas. This cloud of dust and gas is called as nebula. The cloud of dust and gas is called as nebula. The scientific community calls this particular cloud and dust as nebula. This is what the nebula is, right? What is nebula? Nebula is nothing but a huge cloud of dust that is there within the space. It's called as nebula. When you see the space, if at all you are seeing in the Google or some other in the video, the moment once you type the space, you will be seeing all the gas which is reddish in color. That is what the one called as nebula, right? That is what the nebula is. In this nebula, the gas and dust will not be staying calm, but the gas and dust will be keep on spiraling. When the gas and the dust are keep on spiraling, then what happens? Because of angle of momentum. In the physics, there is a concept called as angular momentum. What is this angular momentum? Whenever the size of the body, or the surface area of the body is high, then the rotation will be less. Whenever the surface area is less, the rotation or the spin will be very high. How we can understand this one? You might have experienced this particular type of event in the ice skating. Probably you might have seen the ice skating. Whenever the boy or the girl stretches their arms, legs and hands wide together, then what happens to the spin of this guy? The spin will be slow, but the moment once he brings all his arms, legs close together to the body, what happened to the surface area? The surface area get reduces. When the surface area get reduces, the spin will be very high. That is what the angular momentum. When the surface area reduces, the spin will be high. When the surface area increases, the spin will be low. On the same lines, because of the dust particles and the gas particles, as they are spiraling, what happens? Because of movement of conservation of the energy. Just like, whenever you are taking a bucket of water, take a bucket of water, put some sand particle along with the husk of the rice. Whenever you are putting the light density material and the high density material like rocky material, and you spin the water, what happens to the water? All the high density material gets accumulates at the center. This is what you might have observed, right? Whenever you are washing the clothes, all the impurities will come to the center. But whereas the husk of the rice being very light in density, it will be moving away from the center. On the same lines, here also, when all this matter like dust and the gas is rotating, the denser material slowly comes to the center. When the denser material slowly comes to the center, the heat energy between these two due to the friction of the denser particles increases. When the heat energy increases, what happens? Nuclear fusion takes place. The nuclear fusion takes place, meaning what? An emittance of very high energy takes place. With the fusion of the material, a high amount of energy will be taking place, and at the center, because of the very great fusion, what takes birth? Star takes birth. At the center of the nebula, what is happening? The stars will be keep on taking birth. What is a star? Our sun is a star. Got the point? What is a star? Star is such a celestial body where it will be always twinkling. Why it is twinkling? Because of the nuclear material that got imbibed and the fusion of the heat energy is there. Due to this one, the star is always having certain energy. Because of the fusion, what happened? The star will be twinkling. Nothing but, suppose if this is a star like this. Each and every star is having certain energy within it. Every star will be having certain energy. Because of that energy, where it will be keep on glowing. The best example, sun. Our sun, whenever you are looking at the sun, you cannot directly stare at the sun. Why you can't directly stare at the sun? Because the energy will be emitted out. Whenever the energy is emitting continuously, what is happening there? Since the energy is emitting, the fusion of some elementary elements is happening. What are those elementary material? Like hydrogen. One atom of hydrogen is meeting with the another atom of hydrogen, and it is forming into what is called as the heavier element called as helium. Because of the fusion of the two hydrogen atoms, it is giving birth for another higher order element called as helium. This process is continuously happening. Because of this continuous process, the energy that is present within the star is getting converted to other form. What is the other form? Light form, heat form. The energy that is present in the every star is keep on exhausted, just like petrol in your vehicle. Whenever you are having the vehicle, if you are filling up the tank is full. Whenever the tank is full, when you keep on moving from one place to another place, at one point or the other point, what happens? The vehicle get exhausted its energy. On the same lines, the stars also exhaust their energy because of their glow. As and when they are glowing, the star will be keep on losing the energy. That is what happening. Therefore, whenever the star is large in size, large stars and small stars. Now see this one. There can be two types of stars. One is the large size of the star, and the one is small size of the star. Whenever the star is the one which is glowing, where the energy is emitted, it is utilizing the energy. Large stars needs to utilize more energy. When they are utilizing more energy, what happens to the lifespan? The lifespan will be smaller lifespan or less lifespan. Less lifespan. Why it is having less lifespan? Because this energy is utilized on a great scale. Quickly, whenever you are utilizing the energy quickly, all the energy is getting completed within a short point of time. Therefore, the lifespan is less. Which stars will be having brighter or the longer lifespan? It is the small stars. Since the small stars will be glowing with a limited energy and they are glowing for some longer time period, therefore the lifespan is more, some billions of years, whereas here only some millions of years. Some billions of years the small stars will be glowing, whereas the large stars ends up their life very quickly. Luckily, our sun is a small star. That is what our star is. This is what the star that is the history of the star that is taking birth. The star that is taking birth in the nebula, and the brightest star will be having the shortest span of time, and the smaller star is having the larger span of time. What happens whenever the star is dying? After the birth of the star, life of the star, when we say it is having less lifespan, meaning what? At one point or the other point of time, it has to die, right? Whenever it is dying, what happens? This is very important. There is a limit discovered by one Indian physicist called as Chandrasekhar limit. a very, very important limit discovered by a very great Indian physicist by name Mr. Chandrasekhar. He said that any mass of the star, he said that any star with the mass more than 1.44 of that of sun's mass. What is a known star for us? It is our sun. Therefore, we are comparing with the sun. Any star with the mass more than 1.44 times than that of our sun, or any star with less than 1.44 times of that of our sun's mass. There can be two probabilities. What are the two probabilities? Any star, it may be a larger star or the smaller star, but whenever you are talking about the mass, whatever is the mass of the sun, if that particular star which is going to die, if that mass is more than 1.44 times as that of the sun's mass, then it is going to get turned into supernova. It is going to turn into supernova. If the mass of any star with the mass less than that of the 1.44 times of our sun's mass, it is going to convert into what is called as white dwarf. This is what the limit given by Mr. Chandrasekhar is called as Chandrasekhar limit. Very important one. There can be large stars, there can be smaller stars. Whatever the star, at one day or the other point of time, it has to die. Whenever it is going to die, it depends upon the mass of the star. If the mass of the star is more than our sun's mass, or if the mass of the star is less than our sun's mass. How much mass? It is 1.44 times of that of the sun's mass. Because we know the mass of the sun, and we are calculating only with the sun's mass. Whenever it is the given star, when the size of the star is more than 1.44 times as that of the sun's mass, what happens? There are two probables. What are the two probables? It is going to turn into supernova. This is what I said. But there can be two probables. What are the two probables? What are the two probables? It may get converted into neutron star or black hole. It may get converted into supernova. That is definitely supernova. Meaning what? What is supernova? Whenever the energy of the star is getting exhausted, it explodes. The moment once it explodes, what is the phenomena called as? Supernova phenomena. The moment once it is exploding, when the star explodes, it may get converted into two types. One is called as the neutron star, another one is called as black hole. What is a neutron star? Neutron star is such a star, whenever the star explodes, suppose if this is a star, this is a star, all these parts got exploded. All these parts got exploded. The middle part is left over. The solid, larger middle part is left over, and all the pieces have got spreaded out like this. Suppose all the pieces got spreaded out, and the middle part was left over. This middle part is called as the neutron star. This is what the neutron star. Whenever the star explodes, if a major part of the star is left over, remained as it is, which is called as the neutron star. This neutron star, after some years, it will be emitting out the energy that is present in the form of light like this. Suppose if this is a neutron star, the energy is pumped out like this. Energy is pumped out, energy is pumped out, energy is pumped out, energy is pumped out. Therefore, it appears like, some of the rays are projected right from the star to outside. Such a emitting of their light right from the star, this is called as pulsar. These are called as pulsars. Meaning what? whenever the supernova takes place, from the supernova, there can be a neutron star. The neutron star over a period of time converts into pulsars. What is a pulsar? The large body of the remnant star where the energy is given out. That is what the pulsar is. Or else, if the star got exploded completely, no one small, such a one larger piece of star was not left over, all the entire explosion happened, all the small material got scattered into the space, then it leads to the formation of black hole. That is what the black hole. What is a black hole? This is the empty space, all the material gets scattered here like this. Whatever the exploded material of the star, which is called as the star dust, all the star dust will be present here around this black color body. The center of this black color, the center of this material is called as the black hole. This is what the black hole. What is the greatness of this black hole? All the black holes are having very great gravitational attraction. So great energy is being observed within into this one. It is having a greater gravitational pull. All the material that is present in the nearby areas is pulled into inside like this. All the material is pulled into the hole. Once the material goes into this hole, what happens? We don't know. Got the point? Just now I said that what is the known knowledge? The known knowledge is only 5%. What is the unknown knowledge? 95%. What is one particular stage where the man is unable to discover? What happens to that material if it go into the black hole? We don't know. Even today, we don't know what happens if we enter into the black hole. No material has escaped this attraction, this pull. All the material is pulled inside. But whenever it enters, where it is going, we don't know. Could you understand that tragic? See how beautiful it is. It appears like, so beautiful, but if something goes wrong, if this black hole comes very close to our Earth, what happens? Earth will be absorbed into the black hole. What is there on the Earth? We are there. If nothing is visible to us and we are going deep in the inner layers, where we are going, where we are falling, if we don't know, what happens? The moment once the black hole pulls, all these communication lines, whatever you are talking about, the phones, whatever you are seeing the movies, whatever the telecasted, the class is telecasted, all they'll be cut off. That is what the greatest of the black hole. This is what the black hole. Recently, in the year 2021, in the recent 2021, what was discovered? 2021, what was discovered? The people discovered that there is a very black hole very close to our solar system. The name of this black hole is called as, what is the name of the black hole? Sagittus black hole. This is what the black hole. The black hole that was discovered very close to our solar system is the Sagittus black hole. And in the year 2022, some of the telescopes of our world, of our Earth, have taken the picture of the black hole. Recently, new picture of the black hole was discovered. Taken. The photo was taken. These are the latest discoveries. What is that instrument that can identify the black hole? There is an instrument called as LIGO. What is LIGO? Laser interferometry gravitational wave observatory. LIGO, this is what the LIGO. LIGO is an instrument which is something like this. LIGO is an instrument which appears something like this. Suppose if this is a LIGO, this is the LIGO. What is LIGO? Laser interferometry Gravitational wave observatory center. This is the LEGO. It appears something like this. What is the distance right from the main center to the subcenter? It is 4 kilometers. From here to here, it is 4 kilometers. How to discover the gravitational waves? From here, the gravitational waves be sent. And here the mirrors will be there. What the mirror will be doing? Mirror will be reflecting the waves. The moment once the waves goes here like this, get reflected back. Now, the reflected wave, whenever it is coming, we will be observing the property of the wave. How it is coming, whether it is coming in a straight path or it is getting deviated. This will be recorded. The same is the case. Again, they will be sending the wave like this and the reflected wave will be recorded. Whenever they are studying the wave that is coming back, they could discover some properties of these gravitational waves. These are the gravitational wave observatory center by using the laser interferometers. Therefore, it is called as laser interferogravitational wave observatory center that is present in the USA right now. As on today, there are 3 such centers are there. The 4th center is going to establish in December 2022. The 4th such center is going to establish in the December 2022. In between, there is a very great discovery. There is a space agency called as European Space Agency. What is European Space Agency? It came up with a proposal. By the time it is 2023, 2030, not 2023, sorry. By the time it is December 2030, by the time within December 2030, we are going to establish the instrument called as LISA to study the gravitational waves. The gravitational waves in the space. But what is LISA? LISA is nothing but laser interferometry space antenna. This is the instrument where the European Space Agency wants to establish in the space. What is the difference between this and this? What is the difference between the LIGO and LISA? See the LIGO and LISA. What is the difference between the LIGO and LISA? This is LISA. This is LIGO. What is the difference? There is no difference as such whenever you are seeing on the board, but this is there on the planet Earth, on the Earth. It is going to be in the space. Got the point? What is the length of this arm? 4 kilometers, 4 kilometers. What is the length of this arm in the space? 2.5 million kilometers. 2.5 million kilometers. When the distance is just 4 kilometers, you can discover the changes that are happening in the gravitational waves. If the distance is 2.5 million kilometers, you can observe more changes. That is what the instrument called as LISA. The moment once we establish the LISA, we are going to discover many more things beyond the gravitational waves, the properties of the gravitational waves, the characteristics of the gravitational waves. All these are the discoveries we are going to see in the near future. Is it clear? This is about the latest developments that took place in the space as on now. This is all it comes under the introduction. Don't expect any question in the optional part. Yes, you can expect the questions in the preliminary point. In the prelims or maybe in the mains of science and technology, they may be asked as a question. But our geography has not yet started. The main course of the geography optional has not yet started. This is all the introduction for this syllabus of optional geography. Is it clear? This is about the introduction. All about this stars, universe, the theories that are interrelated, all these things. After understanding all these things, now we need to enter into the next concept called as origin of the earth. From here, every point is very important where the questions are asked in the optional part. From here, it is going to be the main course. As if, if you go to a hotel, they'll be asking, sir, what do you have in the starters? What will be the main course, right? Main course starts from here. What you have seen just now? Starters, the so-called munching material. Is it clear? What we'll do, since it is in the beginning, we'll go very slowly. Let we add some of the students also. Then we'll have the full course. Okay? We'll stop the class here itself. Then we'll take up the main course in the coming session. Tomorrow, right? Some of the students which are supposed to come has not yet turned up because of their problems. Some problems are going on for them. Therefore, let me also go slowly regarding the initial phase. But once we enter into the main thing, then we'll go in a smooth manner. Is it okay? Everything is fine? Any problem in understanding or other things? No? Everything good? Okay, we'll stop the class here itself. We'll be seeing the other things in the next class. Tomorrow itself, we'll be seeing the origin of Earth. And along with this one, we'll be talking about some of the hypotheses. All the hypotheses will be discussed here itself. Okay?